Let's unpack this further with James Dorsey in Singapore. He's an adjunct senior fellow at the Rajaratnam School of International Studies. Welcome, James. So talk us through firstly what's triggered this, the first major escalation between the Houthis and Saudi Arabia after a period of relative calm.
Isabel, this has been building up for weeks. You've had a series of incidents that were leading to escalation, starting with initial fighting for a couple of days between the Houthis and pro-Saudi forces in Hodeidah, a province that the Houthis occupy in majority, and that is home to Yemen's foremost Red Sea port. You've had the interception of a vessel that allegedly was carrying drone-making materials as well as materials to make explosive boats destined for the Houthis. You've had a mass mobilization of tribes, of government employees, of security personnel, calling in response to a call by the Houthi leader for renewed hostilities with the Saudis. And then you had the camel that broke the straw that broke the camel's back, which was the landing in Sanaa on July 3, if I'm not incorrect, of a Mahan air flight, a privately owned Iranian air company that was picking up the Houthi delegation that went to Tehran to attend the funeral of the late Iranian Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. So this has been building up for quite some time.
And talk us through Iran's role here. Of course, it's contested as to that plane and what it was carrying, but what would it mean if this was a plane that was attempting to funnel weapons in from Iran?
Well, the accusation initially was not so much that the plane that landed in early July at Sanaa International Airport, it was not that it was carrying weapons so much as that it was ferrying to Yemen Iranian personnel from the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, the IRGC, as well as other security personnel. Interestingly enough, the Iranians on the return flight, with other words, the flight yesterday that was blocked by the bombing of the Sanaa International Airport, initially asked the Saudis for permission for that plane to land. The Saudis passed that request on to the internationally recognized government, which rejected it. And Iran then went ahead with attempting to land in Yemen, despite the fact that its application had been rejected.
And James, how significant an escalation is this? And if it leads to renewed violence, I mean, how destabilising could that be for the region, given the Houthis we've seen have become increasingly assertive, looking back at those attacks on Israeli territory after the start of the Iran war?
It's serious in and of itself. With other words, you could get a revival of the Yemen war, which started with a Saudi-led intervention in Yemen in 2015, and what's happening now basically has broken a 4-year-long informal ceasefire. It becomes even more serious if the Houthis decide to intercept or interrupt shipping in the Bab al-Mandab waterway, which is the waterway that connects the Suez Canal and the Red Sea with the Arabian Sea and the Indian Ocean. For example, if they started to target Saudi and US vessels. Now, the interesting thing to keep in mind here is that the Houthis have been very cautious during the Iran war. They very late entered into the war nominally, fired a few rockets at Israel, and that was it. They clearly did not want to get involved wholesale. That could be very different today.
Okay, James Dorsey, live there from Singapore, adjunct senior fellow at the Rajaratnam School of International Studies. Thank you so much for your insights.